What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Today we're going to be talking about Familia Royale. The new one is live, and Boss 1 is available now. In a couple days, we'll get Boss 2. We'll talk about that at that point in time, but I want to cover Boss number 1 because that's the one you want to work on for the next couple of days. Make sure you maximize your damage. Remember, in this event, it works a lot like Record Buster, except Boss 1 is going to be AoE. So you're really looking to get your best score of the day and every single day that accrues. There's been some, I guess, some people misunderstood last time, thought like it worked like Record Buster, like your best score overall. No. Every single day you need to maximize your scores and get your best scores out, and that is then accrued for your Familia. So you'll have a daily score for your Familia. So this means, while we don't have a choice with Boss number 1, you get a 2 or 3. If you're actually better at one of these, though it should be hard to do, but if you are better at one of these, then you might want to do that instead. That said, let's go ahead and get down to this. Familia Royale enemy number 1, okay? This enemy, so Valentine Darkness is a Phantasma unit, so use Phantasma Killer if you've got one. Dark Physical Attack and Dark Magic Attacks will be basically cast upon you. Foe Singular decreases physical and magic resist, so they'll actually decrease a specific unit's physical and magic resist. I haven't found this to be too much of a hurdle yet. Emphasis on yet, but we'll get to that. Self increases physical and magic resist, and Dex decreases damage received, single target, and removes debuffs. So I believe it's the end of turn 5, if I recollect. They remove debuffs. That's kind of like your biggest hurdle. Their physical and magic resist will become an issue. Though, if you want to take this on properly, Earth, Water, and Thunder are all neutral. Light resistance is down 70%, so you really need to take a light team. Wind and Dark are both 20, and Fire resistance is up 40%. So Fire resistance is out. You do not want to use a Fire unit. Physical resistance is also up 50%, so you want to use a light magic team. That's very, very, very important. And if you got Phantasma Killers, which I believe the new Chloe and new Anya are Phantasma Killers as well, that will help you out immensely, immensely. So, start considering that. The enemy is weak to light, and Phantasma Killer is effective. They use skills to boost their physical and magic resist while reducing your physical and magic resist. They do produce damage, but in my teams I haven't found a huge problem with that yet, but we'll see. Use Sweetheart Dragon Winnie's Sweet Fall to remove the effects, increase damage, and take the advantage. So I unfortunately don't have her. I didn't pull for it. I'm going to show you a team today you can produce some good damage with without having to resort to some of the new units. So let's go ahead and get into the team itself, all right? So this is the team that I've been using. This team's produced okay damage. I really don't know what the maximum right now is, but I will tell you this team has been extremely effective. If you basically want a brief overview of the team, obviously we've got a lot of SA gauge charge. We've got Althea and Belle for the light magic attack, and of course I have the light Haruhime basically for her magic buffing skill. So let's go ahead and get into battle here. Basically, of course, you want your Familia skills up there, but that's really up to your Familia leader. When it comes to this fight, there's a few things you need to know, and I'll go over a lot of them at the end. But for now, the main thing you want to remember is just to focus on your buffs and debuffs for the beginning of the match. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my main debuff stack, and keep icons on. You see I have icon on highlighted at the top, and you'll see the little icons over here. If you don't know already, you need to become accustomed to what these mean. So on our foes, the red arrows down, basically you'll see an S and an M, that's strength and magic, and that is both debuffed, and you'll also see that light is debuffed as well. Now, Chigusa's an odd choice here, but the main reason I have her is to get a little bit faster SA gauge charge so that I can do my attacks a little bit faster. So for her, we're going to go ahead and do 100% SA gauge charge. You don't need Chigusa, but you just... And in fact, you could use this turn to debuff. One of the things, often question I get from new players is, how am I doing the swap? Well, using the swap amulet, the retreat amulet, as they call it. And basically, you can use that twice in a turn. So I use it turn 1 to get Line to leave. After turn 1, turn 2, then Chigusa's going to leave after turn 2, and Haruhime is going to come in. I need to redo my video on that because there's actually new details on that that we could talk about. So stay tuned for that. We'll probably produce that here in the next couple of days. But for now, let's go ahead and just focus on using her 100% SAH charge. Now, I'm not going to debuff here with the Light Haruhime. And the main reason I'm not going to do that, because Light Haruhime is a single target, and they're going to buff their single target resistance in a few moments. Now, the main reason that I'm not going to, and this is a really important factor here, because being that we have 5 targets, if I just focus on one target, we're going to kill them too quickly. I'm going to use the next 5 turns to target a different unit each and every time, so that every time we attack, we're basically attacking somebody different. So just wearing them down a little bit faster. Because remember, single targets do hit a lot harder. Plus, Mayfly does give us 20% HP regen. Very important differentiation there. But gives us 20% HP regen at the end of the turn. And remember, without Haruhime here, we don't have our main healers. So it's going to be really important getting past this turn. The other two, basically from this point until the debuffs are removed, which will happen in a couple of turns, we're just going to spam skill 2. Alright? I'm not really worried if Chigusa dies here. I just needed her to get her skill off. So there we go. Alright. Now, in fact, having Haruhime in here could be very handy. You'll notice that I did not use Haruhime's debuff, and I'm actually not going to yet, because they're going to remove their debuffs in a couple of turns. So in this turn, I'm just going to go use Yosuke. Try to get past this just with healing. This is a bit of a gamble. It may or may not work, but it's worth a try. You have 99 turns, you might as well give it a shot. Okay. Once again, I'm going to continue because our debuffs are still there with doing skill 2 with both Althea and Belle. I'm going to do skill 3 with the Light Haru, and I'm going to target a different foe. And I'm going to, like I said, use Yosuga with the OG Haru. Let's go see what happens here. Great. Now, you will notice that we are debuffed. I'm not going to worry about that so much. It does hurt us a tiny bit, but it's not the end of the world at the moment. So I'm just going to continue. In fact, in this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do Sheikah. And the main reason I'm going to do that is basically just to get a little bit more damage out. Because remember, they don't remove our buffs, but they do remove our debuffs. And Sheikah is going to buff counter rate and penetration rate, which is going to help us out in the long run. So we're going to go ahead and buff that one more time. Most of that is actually in play already. So you notice that penetration is up there and counter rate is up there, but it's 20%, and she's going to buff it another 10%. And you don't think 10% will make a difference? It will make a huge difference, believe it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and buff that. Okay. And once again, I'm going to change foes with the Light Haru. The other two are going to continue doing skill 2. Now, it is worth noting that skill 1 here could remove the debuffs, but because we're going to have to do skill 1 next turn anyway, I'm not going to lose sleep on that. I'm just going to kind of continue on this route. Now, this is a bit of a dangerous tactic. I probably would be wiser to use the OG Haru for her healing on this turn, because they are going to remove their debuffs here shortly, and that could hurt us. And you can see we're already taking some early damage. But I have faith in this team. This team is fully max limit broken. If it's not, or if you start taking really heavy damage or your healers just aren't doing their thing, you could change your tactic up. You can use Haruhime from the beginning and then use her debuffs. I just find that getting the early damage out is more important. Now, there are a couple things that I'm going to do here that some of you probably will see through a little bit. But I'm not going to put all my cards on the table. I'm going to give you guys everything you need to know, but I'm definitely not going to show you my best run just because this is a Familia event and it is slightly competitive. Now, that said, I'm going to tell you everything you need. I just might not show it to you, so you might want to read between the lines a little bit here. That said, I'm going to go back to Yosuga here. I did Cicada Shell on that turn. I need to do Mayfly. That's all right. I'm going to change target again anyway. I don't know why I did that, but I did that. And you'll notice that all of our debuffs, like I said before, all those red down carrots are gone from our foes. So we need to re-implement those. Now, let's see. Is light resistance still there? Only the assists. Only the assist stuff is there. Assist effects are the ones that are actually in squares. Yeah. Yeah, assist effects are the ones in squares, and the adventure effects are the ones in circles. So if I click on this dude here, you'll see that light resist is down, but that's only on the adventure side. They don't remove that. They only remove the adventure stuff. So on this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do skill 1 with Belle. That's going to go ahead and do a strength and magic debuff. And it will also reduce our debuffs by 2 turns. Our debuffs are here, are only 2 turns, so as soon as he gets that hit off, they're gone. And we shouldn't take any more damage at that point, or at least not the crazy damage we've been taking. Now, with Althea, I'm going to go ahead and do this again over here. Let's see. Actually, we don't need that. Yeah, and this does light resistance down. So I'm going to stick with skill 2 with her. I think that's just going to be more beneficial. So I'm really just going to do skill 1 with Belle, Mayfly with Light Haru, and once again Yosuga with the main Haru. And I'm going to go ahead and attack this guy here in the back. Let's go. Let's get this. Now, it is really important to get those debuffs gone on your units and put the debuffs back on those units. If you don't, you're pretty much dead turn 5. So you need to pay attention to that. That's really, really, really important. That's not one of the things I'm lying about. That's one of those really important factors. If you don't do that, you're not going to make it through this turn, at least not without severe penalties. All right. Turn 6. Now remember, the key factor to this is defeating this quickly. The faster you can beat this, the better your score is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and buff with both the Haruhimes. Now remember, this Haruhime does she does strength, but she also does magic, and magic's our most important one. So she'll do magic plus 100%, and this Haruhime will do light damage plus 80%. That's going to be a big buff to everybody, so everybody's going to get a huge boost out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and back and do skill 2 with Belle, and skill 2 with Althea, and by the time both those essays are out, they're going to be boosted to high heaven. Now, I'm going to target a different enemy with this, just because I believe this is the one with the most... Let's turn icons off. It's arguable which one has the most health. This is the only one I haven't hit yet, so I'm going to go ahead and hit this one. Let's see. Best way to do this. 2.79... 2.77, 2.58, yeah, I think that's the one, 2.5, 2.47, so yeah, so I'm going to target that one because that's the one that actually has the most health left. So let's go ahead and do a double SA, and like I said, that's just going to buff Belle and Althea, and let go. Now the goal from this point on is to keep all those buffs in play, and then just wreck them. Just for the next couple of turns, we're just going to absolutely open up the gates of hell and flood them with just fury and pain. Now, there is one really good reason that I'm actually using this Light Haruhime beyond her buff, and I'll go ahead and say this. One of the key factors that a lot of people don't realize about this, there's two things and two things alone that actually amount to your score, and I'll show this at the end. It's whatever turn you end on, you get a base score for that as well as a modifier, and whatever your biggest hit is. Now that's one of the things that I'd been missing in the past. We actually went over this on stream. I didn't realize that personally. I did not realize that your damage wasn't cumulative. I'd never paid close enough attention. Good thing she did that heal there, otherwise we'd have been in trouble. So your damage is not cumulative. So the goal here is just to finish it very, very quickly. Very quickly. So getting a turn 8 kill here would be wonderful. That's another reason why I buff that counter rate, because buffing that counter rate is going to help us get a really quick win in. And notice all those counters just ruined these guys. Just wrecked them out. I think he's going to have the most health, 1.8 and 1.7. So yeah, I'm going to target this guy this time with Althea. I'm going to go ahead and do I'm sorry, not with Althea, with Light Haru. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. So we're going to do skill 3, skill 3, skill 2, skill 2. Let's ruin this. Now it is worth noting, if you have the new units, great. You're going to do even better than I'm doing here, because some of those new units are Phantasma Killers. You want Phantasma Killers on your screen, or on your screen, on your team. And the really nice part about Light Haru is, I believe, yeah, in fact, there she goes. Light Haru is a Phantasma Killer, so she's basically going to be your top dog when it comes to sheer volume and damage. Now that said, and here's the important part about this, you do not need those new units. Like I'm showing you here, I'm just using units from the anniversary. These units are over 6 months old at this point. So these units maybe haven't kept up with the power creep. I would say I would take them back. They're still fantastic units. No questions asked, they're fantastic units. But notice they're holding their own. And here we go. Turn 8 kill, no questions asked. I'm going to go ahead and do an SA with Bell just to get this out of the way. It doesn't matter who I SA with here. They're done. In fact, I was really close to a turn 7 finish, so I'm going to work on getting that turn 7 finish out. But here we go. Boom. Oh, how did he not die? He dead now. That didn't last long. So turn 8 finish, and I'll show you the score here and how this is calculated. Alright, so score details. Notice it's not my high score. Default score, literally that's just a default number that you're going to get for finishing on that turn. Battle turn 8, so that's then going to be added to 160%, and that is then going to give me my total score of 1128, 1.12, is that 1.128? Decimal, 11,281,725. So 11 million. Okay? Then it takes the highest damage I achieved, which in this case was just south of 1 million damage. Now, obviously, if I debuffed with Haruhime, I would have gotten a slightly better number. There are ways to buff that up. Wink, wink, hint, hint. But that amounted to my final score. So, like I said, default score, and it literally means default. You get that number no matter what you do and end on turn 8. So the faster you can win this, the better your score is going to be. Also, remember the highest damage you get here, the better your score is going to be. Notice, mine is not my high score for the day. Just going to drop that little hint on y'all. But that's the event, guys. Really simple, really straightforward. We'll be back on Saturday to talk about Boss 2 at that point, because Boss 2 doesn't drop until that point in time. So, like, comment, share this out, because I don't think a lot of people really understand. I didn't even understand until last Familia Royale really actually how this works. So maybe a lot of people just don't understand the mechanic as well. But there you go, guys. That's everything you need to know. With a little bit left off the table, but literally everything you need to know is in here. Just got to read between the lines a little bit. I'll catch y'all on the next one.